Okay, we're going to start the process for acrylic transfers. And so the first thing you need to do is you need to find an image. You can draw an image, you can research an image, I made a copy of an image that was in an anatomy book. And what you would want to do is prepare the image to be photocopied. And so sometimes in your transfer, like maybe I want to get rid of the text, or maybe I want to get rid of some of this extra imagery. And so what I can do is paint it out with acrylic paint or gesso. Gesso is translucent, so you can kind of see through it. So if you just want to make it less detailed, you can go over it. If you want to block it out, maybe acrylic paint might be a better option. And so I still need to put a couple of coats on this to get rid of it, but it gives you a basic idea. So then I had taped it down to the paper to keep it from curling too much. I made a photocopy of it so you can see. This is where the gesso, I probably need to put a few more coats. You're going to go ahead and cut this out. And I suggest that when you cut it out bigger than what you need so that you don't cover your image up with tape. So you're going to cut it a little bit bigger. Right? And then what I'm going to have you do is tape it down. Let me unzoom this, or maybe not. Move this here. Right? Tape it down on all four sides with tape. It's important that you do all four sides so that it will be as flat as possible. Then you're going to get yourself some gloss media. This is basically the plastic of acrylic. It has no color to it, and when it dries transparent. So I've already put 5 coats of acrylic on this. I use the gloss so it's shiny. Matte works as well. Gel media works as well, but I find that the matte doesn't look as good as the gloss. I feel like it wipes off too much of the image. And so what you would do is just put a little bit on your brush, and on the last layer I went up and down. So on this one that's dry, I'm going to go across, and so I'm going to paint in a layer of it. I try really hard to spread it out evenly. Any places where it's really thick is going to dry bumpy, so I kind of go over it so that there's a nice thin layer of it to let this dry. I can't mess with it until it's dried completely. I find that if I don't, then I get air bubbles or weird brush marks on it. And then I like to keep a tally mark at the bottom here so that I know how many coats I've done. So I know it's hard to see with this blue tape, but I've already done 5, and so I just did the 6th one. I find I normally need about 7 to 8 coats for it to be protected. The way that you're going to wipe off the paper is going to be similar to the packing tape transfer, and we'll show you how to do that later, but I can't touch this until it's dry. Basically what's going to happen is you're going to rub off the paper when it's in water, and it's going to become pretty transparent. So if on top of something that I've already painted, I should be able to see through it. Or if I want to cut it out, I can cut it out. But I'm going to use this gloss media again to basically glue it back down onto the surface. If you don't want a shiny texture, you could use the matte media to adhere it down. And you would do that on the underside and on the top to make sure that it glues in flat.